Visual Wings, Let's Draw, Podcast. Hello peeps and heartily welcome to my very first video podcast. I am Tatiana and I am recording this video podcast log thing from Germany. And yeah, what's this all about? This video podcast will be about my arts, will be about how I do things like drawing with ballpoint pens, etc. And for today I have on the schedule the mobile app SKETCHBOOK Pro. It's a really cool app and I will show you something. You can find this little gem on the Samsung Apps Market or on the Google Play Store. There are many different apps of this kind, like Sketchbook Mobile Express. It's by Autodesk Inc. On the Galaxy Note 2 it worked perfectly fine. As I said, there are many different kinds, like this Sketchbook Express, for example. It's a bit like a mobile Photoshop. I have to say I tried the Sketchbook Mobile Express with my fingers and of course with the S Pen, and it worked very well. This one is another app I had on my Note 2. It's pretty much the same like the Express one, but it has some more nice features and it's not so expensive. But then I discovered this one. It's the Sketchbook Pro for Galaxy. I tried it on my Note 3 this time. In this episode of my podcast, I want to introduce Sketchbook Pro for Galaxy, show you how it works, show you the interface and how to work with it. I really hope you enjoy this and yeah, let's draw! But before I start drawing, here are some German words. English folks, you can skip this. Kurz für meine Zuschauer aus Deutschland, die nicht so gut Englisch sprechen können, bitte lernt weiter fleißig diese Sprache. Ist eine ganz tolle Sache, könnt ihr euch dann auch mit Leuten unterhalten, die kein Deutsch sprechen. Und kurz zur App. Sketchbook Mobile Pro for Galaxy habe ich mir im Samsung App Store gekauft, kostet 3,70 €, ist also nicht so teuer und bietet für das Geld auf jeden Fall eine ganze Menge. So let's start with the app now. When you open the app you see the canvas and above the canvas you find the menu. The menu is very neat and the first item is for the gallery. You can create a new sketch, you can save your sketch or you can open the gallery. The next item on the menu is for the settings. Here you can edit the normal settings, you can activate the pen mode, you have a quick start, the user's manual, an info section and news. Opening the settings, you find a lot of checkboxes and here you can activate some nice features like having always the tools visible or using a smooth brush. To activate the S Pen mode is quite useful because you can draw with the S Pen only and it prevents that you draw lines with your hand by accident. You can set this mode to automatically on or off. In the tools section you find tools for the symmetry, you can choose a style to draw with, drawing free in lines, rectangles or ovals. You can activate a ruler, or you can choose a tool to fill with, to transform or to add text. The brush menu. This is the most awesome part of this wonderful app. Here you can set the radius or the opacity of your brush, and of course you can choose a brush to work with. If you're a user of Photoshop, you will feel somewhat at home because the brush menu is so huge and you have a broad variety of brushes to choose from. But the most awesome feature you can find on the brushes menu is you can choose between hardness degrees. I celebrate this very hard, and it's the first time I see such a feature in a drawing program, so this is really awesome. Now to the S Pen. As you might already have noticed, you have a little circle icon below, and by tapping on this little circle you open a quick menu where you can set your brush or edit the brush properties. Using the S Pen is very comfortable. It draws very precise lines, and by varying the pressure you can draw very thin lines or thick ones. In the quick menu you also have a button to clear the whole page. Another nice feature which makes this app really special is that it contains colors of Copic markers. But of course you also can pick your color manually. Another awesome feature of Sketchbook is that you can add layers, but that's not all. You also have a menu for the layers, so you can set it invisible, or you can import a photo from your gallery of the smartphone or directly from the camera. You can duplicate a layer or edit the opacity. You can set it to multiply, to add, or whatever. Scrolling down a bit you find a button to add patterns, which is pretty cool because you also have a paper structure there. And of course you also can delete your layers. That much about the interface, and now it's time to draw something. You might have already noticed that this episode is called Freestyle, and so I will do something freestyle. I think I will draw an eye. Every time I try something new to work with, like apps or paper or pens, stuff like that, I draw an eye. It's my kind of thing, I think, and it's actually a good topic for a horror movie. VISUALWINGS presents This Summer. From the makers of The Walls Have Eyes and The Sheets Have Eyes, and films like This Chalk Doesn't Taste So Good. This is so sad. No, actually it's an epic podcast, really. So let's get started now with the eye. To do so I have to choose a brush and a color. What you see now is not real time. I sped everything a bit up because it would take too long. While I'm drawing, I can ask you for a favor. I'd like you to write in the comments what you think about my podcast, what you would like to see in the next, or what you would like me to talk about, what to try out or what to show, and in the next podcast I will make it happen. What I also would like to know is, do you use your smartphone for drawing? Or what do you use? Do you use a tablet? Or do you prefer paper? Do you draw on your PC or something? What is your opinion on using the new technologies for drawing? I think it's an interesting topic to talk about, so please write your opinions, your experiences in the comments, and I will get back to that next time. And over here there lives a happy little tree, which brings me to my websites. Please check out my website visualwings.de or my Tumblr Happy Fandom Life. Search on Instagram or Twitter for Creafea. That reminds me of my nickname. Lots of you people don't know what it means and where it comes from. Back in the day when I decided to name my website Visual Wings, I also was looking for a proper nickname for myself. So I thought about something with the word feather in it because of my Visual Wings theme, and being a creative, it had to be something with the word creative. So Creative Feather was born, but this name would have been way too long, so I shortened it to Creafea. I'd like to make this podcast a bit dynamic, so every time I record an audio comment I will tweet it, so that you can write to me suggestions or comments or questions, whatever, and you will make it then into my podcast. Let's change the color now from black to special black, so that it will look much more 3D-like. Well, it looks nice so far. You also can move your drawing by using 2 fingers, or you can zoom in and out. So working with this app is very, very comfortable, and you can also work very detailed. Let's add the eyebrow now. And some shadows. Rough and sketchy. But we can also use the airbrush for it. In the last step, let's give it some color. What will it be? I think it will be blue, sky blue. La voila! Finished is the eye of the Taiga! That was my very first podcast. Thanks a lot for tuning in, but don't forget to write a comment and check on my social media. Talk to you soon! I wanted to do this podcast for the arts, but I think I will keep it up for the bad jokes.